It's gonna be cut. Why the fuck am I even doing it? Alright, welcome back to our second review. Taxi Driver.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have to leave it right here and just have to project our voices.
What can we say about Taxi Driver?
Not a lot. See you later.
Really good film about character as well.
And haircuts.
And
It's all about the haircuts.
It's a fake haircut.
It's all about the haircut. You noticed Harvey Keitel with his long wig?
Yes.
Long,
Oh,
beautiful. Fantastic.
Tommy
Wiseau.
70s look as well.
70s Tommy. Yeah. It's weird seeing him as a long black-haired pimp.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, it's great.
Yes.
Well, De Niro has 3 different haircuts. He's got his normal, this. Then the almost army kind of cut.
Do you mean? Oh, with the mohawk.
No, the other haircut he has.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like that and like short and straight, army, fucking whatever. And then the mohawk.
I love the scene with, and I've told you this before, when he's talking on the phone to Betsy, and he's trying to forgive himself and get another date, and the camera just slides away from him because we're trying to forget him and and Betsy's trying to just give up on him, so the director's trying to say, it's over.
Yeah.
We'll what's the word? Move on. Give up on him as well.
Yeah, give up on that relationship, move on, because there's a phone booth there, he's just talking, and then there's a phone booth inside a hotel, motel or something.
Yeah,
there's a
I
hallway.
don't know. I don't
where it is, but like he's talking on the phone, and it just pans across, and there's a hallway, and you see the outside street through the sliding doors.
Yeah, and then he walks out into the streets, and then his life just continues.
Yes.
That's pretty much all he does. Great review.
Number 1.
Nah, but it really does make sense where he's an ex-marine who's come back, and he's a taxi driver, and he's so alone and so disconnected from the world because he hates it so much, and he doesn't like the dirty streets. And
That's why I was saying, because the dirty streets he talks about kind of remind him of being in Vietnam. Really, it's like he's found, because this is another one of those films where it goes into that PTSD of the hard life for the Vietnam vets and how they were treated like shit and all that. And it's just a guy just trying to get through life. He can't sleep because you're going through war.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it's like.
And I like how they don't show the war flashbacks of like his PTSD or anything. It's just his brain just slowly becoming a lunatic.
One thing I love watching on YouTube is just like animals having like Vietnam flashbacks. I just wanted an animal just to go, and just like, fucking ride of the Valkyries come over and just explosions.
Hey, look, it's like Martin Sheen at the beginning of Apocalypse Now, just staring into distance.
Like, and that fan just like goes around and round in his like hotel room. He's just like high and drunk off his head, and he just punches the mirror and he's like, Fantastic.
Nah, this back to Taxi Driver. Unless you want to do 2 films at one. Nah, I love how Martin Scorsese is in it as well.
Yeah,
He plays like this.
It's funny how Martin is a extra in the film, and he's I had this in my when you fucking think of something during the day and you got all the words straight, but when you actually do it, you fuck up. This is me right now.
That's my whole life.
How to speak to girls.
Do you mean like he's the director directing Robert De Niro?
I was gonna say he was a patron. He's a paying customer in a taxi. What's that word? Fuck off. You know what I mean? Hold up. Doesn't matter.
That's that scene with him and he drives up to his wife's or not his wife's, the black fella's apartment.
Where his wife is in.
Yeah, and she's having an affair on him, and
Yeah, it is funny.
it's really good because he's such a good actor.
He's a decent actor. Yeah, he's not bad. He's alright. But like the funny thing is, it's like he's like direct acting. Because when you watch the scene, it's weird. When you watch the scene, he's in the back seat and he's telling De Niro. It sounds like a pasta. De Niro. He's telling De Niro. Should I say Bob? He's telling Bob. That's right. I'll let you go. He's telling Bob what to do. So he's telling Bob to put the meter back up so the money keeps going, the numbers keep going, so he pays more. He's telling him to do that. And he tells him to look out the building, look up there, second story to the left, to see the light on. He looks up, and you just see the camera just like slowly pan up, across, and he's like, and you just hear Scorsese just go up, second floor left there. Are you listening to me? Left. You see the light? You see the light? You see the girl on the light? You see the girl? See the girl? That's my wife. That bitch.
I was gonna say with Jodie Foster's character, she's 12 in that film.
Yeah, she's actually 12, and she's playing a 12-year-old prostitute.
I thought she was like 17.
Yeah, 15.
Yeah.
We were both wrong.
But she's so good. And her friend is an actual prostitute. For those of you who didn't know.
Yes. Yeah. So the story is written by Paul Schrader, who's amazing. And half the story is based off a prostitute he met, and that prostitute is in the film and is like Jodie Foster's friend, like walks with her all the way every scene you see with her. So that's the actual prostitute that Paul talked to, apparently. It'd be cool if it actually is true. I'm probably... Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it is.
I'll give it 90% truth, because she did look like drugged out of her head. But
And she did look young as well. Like, she didn't look 27 or whatever.
you'd be pointless as a hooker at 27. I mean, at 27 you start getting like those baby marks because you've had like 17 abortions and all that. But I love the story how the story's like two stories flipped. How with Betsy's character, the first time you meet her, they Bob and Betsy go out on a coffee date. The second time they go to a porno theatre, and then the next time you see him, Robert gets really angry with her and all that in where she works. And after that, that's where the telephone scene happens, and Michael's favourite scene, the camera pans away, so that's over. Then when you meet Iris, Jodie Foster's character, the first time they're together really is Jodie Foster thinks Robert's a paying customer for sex and all that, and he's telling her, no, I don't want any of this. Then the next time they meet up is in a coffee shop getting breakfast. And then the third time together is the shootout at the end. So it's really weird how it's like a flipped story, which I love.
And I like how it doesn't like the whole film could have been two parts where like
Kind of is two parts.
I mean like two whole films
Oh, yeah.
for Betsy's character all centered around her in the first part, and then Iris's character all centered around her. But it's just a mix of both, and people come and go in his life, you know. He's really alone at the end of it as well, because he loses both Iris as she goes up back to her parents and goes back to school. So she can't hang out with him.
Then you see like at the end, Betsy's character comes back into play, but Robert doesn't treat her like, and he just treats her like another paying customer. Really, she's like nothing to her because that story's concluded. Really.
Yeah, and then because of that, he's alone at the end.
Yeah.
It's really good because he's an anti-hero where you don't you're put in his shoes and you sympathize with him for sure, but the stuff he does, you think, oh god, like watching a porno or buying guns or
Nothing wrong with watching porn, people. It's a fact of life, fact of nature. Fucking root.
nah.
They've taught me a lot.
And then he buys guns, and then he just tries to assassinate Palantine.
Who is? The people probably don't know who Palantine is. Palantine is running for president.
Oh no, that's what I said.
No, you didn't.
I was going to say assassinate the president, the running president, who's
Assassinate Palantine.
yeah. No,
Like who?
do it again. I'll cut it out.
Where was I? Was I drinking at that point? um,
And then, so he buys guns, and then, you know, tries to practice with them, and then tries to assassinate Palantine, who's running for president, essentially, where Betsy's working for. She's doing the campaigns and all that. So everything's connected. But I love Albert Brooks' character. He's like the comedic effect.
Albert Brooks, that's another guy with nice hair. It's very big, like. It's not.
Perfect afro.
It's like a perm. I think it's a perm.
Was it a perm? Oh, I thought it was an afro. Oh, never mind then.
I should just say it a lot of like crust, but that's why it's just curly. But yeah, there's another hair trivia. Really.
I love how he just, like, it's so subtle, the humour, with him or with Peter Boyle, who plays Wizard.
Forgot about Peter Boyle. And his hair. I told you, it's about the hair. This movie's about hair. Like Albert Brooks, and this is before he got like his husky voice, where you hear it a lot in Pixar. Nice hair there. And Peter Boyle, which you people should know.
You should know, if you've seen Everybody Loves Raymond's, you know who he is.
Yes.
You know.
It's perfect. It's like it's bold there, obviously, but like it's like a mullet. It's like, what haircut do you call it? It's
It's like
not a sideburn.
it's like a horseshoe mullet.
Yeah.
It's like
like
it's not a mullet because the mullet's just at the back, but it's every.
like a reversed bowl cut, because like instead of the bowl being there, it's like there and just there. Oh, it's brilliant. It's great.
Yeah, it's great. Do you want to talk about the ending? That you didn't like it as much as.
Yes. The ending, I wanted it to end after the big shootout. There's that camera shot where everyone's just frozen still. Camera's bird's eye view and just like pans back to the cops frozen. Pans over all the blood and the guns dropped in the hallways, the dirty hallways of this hooker hotel, really.
Yeah, it's like an apartment complex that they've hired out or something.
Pretty much. And I kind of wanted it to end there.
With him dying, or just with him, just with that shot, and go out to the streets and.
Yeah, go out the streets, because it's just a good shot of like showing the streets, the big commotion and all that. It just pans out. It's a big wide shot. It's a great shot. And then it just continues on, like as the aftermath and like all the newspaper clippings on Robert's wall, and just a voiceover of RS's parents, like that have written him a letter, so it's their voiceover of what the letter says. I mean, that's alright. And then, yeah, that's when you see.
Oh, that's alright.
Alright, it's okay. And that's when you see Betsy as just another customer in his life, just nothing to him now, really. So it's an okay ending, but I wanted it to end on that big watch. I'd rather.
I mean, it feels like it should because of the music and the camera going back, and it's just like pulling away from the characters, and we're going away from the story now, going into the streets, and then it should just end like that. But and then it just cuts to like the fridge or whatever with the letter, the wall with the letter or whatever. Yeah, it's a bit weird, you know.
It's like one of those films where. It's one of those films where, oh yeah, it's got to end here. And then it fucking doesn't. There's a whole nother scene, so you're just like, oh, I have to hold in my pee just a bit longer. And it's just like, fuck, how long does this ending go for? It's like 10 minutes. You're just like, fucking.
No, great film.
Have to give a shout out. Saw this at the Astor Theatre. Shout out to the Astor. Yes.
Where are you going with this?
No, shout out to the Astor Theatre for playing this. I love the theatre. If you're in Melbourne, go there as much as you can. You won't regret it. It's amazing. It's where you see good, proper films on the big screen. You just see fucking Taxi Driver on the big screen. You never see Taxi Driver on the big screen unless you were in fucking 76. Yeah, I thought so. Scored. It's perfect. And sometimes they do like original prints. So you'd be watching the original print of. I mean, if they played the original print of Taxi Driver, so this is a print that like they showed in '76, and they probably haven't played it since. Or every now and again is an anniversary edition, but like it's sort of with those original prints, they bring you back into that time, bring you back to the '70s.
Yeah.
Like, especially for the Astor and how it's very
Old-fashioned.
yeah, old-fashioned, very stylish, like that. It fits the era. It fits the era of the films they play. So, fucking go.
And then I just want to say this last thing. You love this phrase that I say. The sun is hot, the grass is green, and De Niro is the man. That's what I'm gonna end it with. It's true. He's a fucking great actor.
If you want to like our
Facebook page,
Twitter,
YouTube.
what else?
That's all we have. No. Yeah, like us on Twitter, follow us at Breaking TFW, subscribe from here, and like our Facebook page. That's all we have to say.